What's up, YouTube? This is your January 3rd, 2020 review for WWE Friday Night Smackdown. Alright, to start, so the show starts off with The Miz upset but accepting the fact that Daniel Bryan won the triple threat match last week to decide who the number one contender is to face Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble. After which, the show began. The WWE video Smackdown opening played. The show kicked off with Bayley and Sasha Banks coming down to the ring. Bayley starts off talking about New Year's resolution and that it is a waste of time for the fans to have one because they will fail. She also says herself and Sasha Banks are the leaders of the SmackDown locker room. So much for Roman Reigns being the leader of the SmackDown locker room, eh? The big dog, Roman Reigns. Anyways, so Lacey Evans, along with Dana Brooke, comes out shortly after. Lacey says that Sasha and Bayley can't keep Lacey's daughter's name out of their mouths. Very interesting because during Bayley's speech, Bayley did not mention anything about Lacey Evans' daughter. Also, another thing to note, I don't even think Sasha Banks even spoke at all. Anyways, so after that, Alexa Bliss, along with Nikki Cross, then make their way out. Alexa and Nikki talk for a bit. It wasn't really anything interesting. I don't remember what they were saying. But then, after that, the show goes to a commercial break. After commercial, a match is underway with Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Lacey and Dana versus Alexa and Nikki. Lacey Evans and Dana Brooke ended up defeating Sasha Banks and Bayley after Lacey Evans gave Sasha Banks a woman's right. Dana tagged in and did a top rope senton and pinned Sasha. Honestly, I don't agree with this because when Sasha came back a couple months ago, she was on a momentum a little bit and the fans were really excited, and now it just seems like they're burying her ever since that match with her and Becky Lynch at the Cell pay-per-view, which I feel that Sasha Banks should have won that because she was on a hot streak, and then that loss at the pay-per-view just killed her momentum. Then not only that, but shortly after that match, I believe she was dealing with an injury or something like that. She took some extra time off, so taking that extra time off after that, I feel kind of maybe killed her steam a little bit. And I just feel ever since that loss to Becky Lynch, she just hasn't felt the same. I mean, she's still Sasha Banks, she's still amazing and whatnot. She's still one of the greatest female competitors in the women's division, but she just hasn't had that same steam that she had since she came back. I don't know what's going on with WWE and how they're booking her, but they need to step it up. And back to what I was saying, Sasha Banks should not have taken the pin. There was another tag team and there was a triple threat match. It was 3 tag teams. The tag team of Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, they could have taken the pin. They could have eaten the pin. They could have let Alexa Bliss eat the pin or Nikki Cross. So why did Sasha Banks or Sasha Banks' team have to lose? Sasha Banks need the momentum because she's been, she hasn't been the same. And I don't agree with Bayley losing either on free TV. Your champion should not be losing. Anyways, moving on. Backstage now, The Miz is still upset about not being able to fight Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So The Miz sees Kofi Kingston and Big E. There's a little bit of confrontation. They exchange some words. Kofi's trying to say hey, why you down? Get in the spirit, you shouldn't be down, yada yada yada. And I don't know why Kofi's all joyous when back in the beginning of October, just when SmackDown went live on Fox, Kofi Kingston lost to Brock Lesnar. In less than 10 seconds, he lost his WWE Championship. And ever since Kofi Kingston lost his title, it just seems like it didn't faze him. It feels like he was on that, was a 6-month title reign for nothing. It feels like it meant nothing to him. And shortly after that, like he just went and won the tag team titles. Like, oh yeah, everything's fine, la di da. I'm tag team champion. No, being WWE champion or being WWE Universal champion, being the face of the brand, that's more important. I don't feel like being tag team champions or nevertheless even being a tag team is as important as being a single star. And not only that, but there's not that much tag teams, and the WWE doesn't really put that much of a big emphasis on tag team wrestling. If you want to see tag team wrestling, you check yourself into WWE NXT or AEW. They're doing it right. Anyways, back to what I was saying now. So they exchanged some words, and the Miz got upset, and Kofi, pretty much they had an agreement to have a wrestling match later on. So it's going to be the Miz versus Kofi Kingston. So next is a segment of Elias in the ring singing and playing his guitar. Nothing else really to note about that. He just sings some notes and just talking about all this stuff. I mean, it was whatever for what it was. I mean, you can go check it out if you want, but I don't think it was all that interesting. Alright, next is a backstage segment with Chad Gable, who confronts the Revival about embracing who you are. The Revival feel like they have been a laughing joke in the company. Words were exchanged between the two. The Revival made fun of Chad Gable for being short, yada yada yada. Chad Gable challenged the Revival to a match with one of them. And that was that for that backstage scene. So shortly after that, the match was made, yep, and they ended up having the wrestling match, which Chad Gable won with an ankle lock. The Revival now, after the match, attempt a post-match attack on Chad Gable. Oddly enough, Sheamus makes a return and chases the Revival out of the ring, and I already had a feeling that Sheamus was not there for Chad Gable, and I was right. And Sheamus ends up bro kicking Chad Gable, and that's how that segment ends. After that, comes Kofi Kingston's match against The Miz. Kofi versus The Miz. Kofi, this match was alright for what it was. It was okay. You already know Kofi Kingston already. He's really good. So Kofi ends up winning the match with a quick roll up on The Miz. Shortly after the pinfall, Kofi celebrating, yada yada yada, and Miz comes and attacks him from behind. Big E comes in to the rescue, chases Miz, runs away, chases after Big E, chases after Miz. Miz runs away out of the ring, and Miz feels like the people has turned their back on him for everything that he has been through, with the Fiend breaking into his house and violating his family, his wife, and his kids, and all this stuff. So right now I'm feeling like the Miz might potentially go heel, because right now he's a babyface. I feel like the Miz is going to go back heel. Me personally, I prefer the Miz as a heel. The Miz is amazing as a heel. Him as a face, I mean, he's not so good, and even his reaction is not as good. If you compare the Miz's reaction from the crowd now as a babyface compared to how he was when he was a bad guy, he would get booed like crazy as a bad guy, because he does that very well. Some people are just natural bad guys, and I feel like the Miz is one of them. Anyways, so yes, potential heel turn for the Miz maybe? Question mark. Moving on, backstage. A backstage reporter tries to get a word with the Miz regarding his action. She goes to the Miz's locker room door, knocks on it. Surprisingly, John Morrison comes out, aka Johnny Nitro. There's so many AKAs for that. He has so many nicknames. So John Morrison ends up answering the Miz's locker room door. And John Morrison actually has been absent from WWE TV for many years. This was actually his return back to the company. And pretty much he was just like, oh, the Miz doesn't really want to talk to anybody, yada yada yada, mind your own business. And that was that. Then there's a match with Otis versus Drew Gulak. Otis defeats Drew Gulak with a Vader bomb. The match was short. Not much to add. It was alright. After that was a match with Braun Strowman versus Cesaro. which Braun Strowman won with a power slam. After Braun Strowman won the match with a power slam, Shinsuke Nakamura quickly hits Strowman with his what is it? Kinshasa, his finisher, however you pronounce it. Sorry if I messed it up. And yeah, he attacked him. Strowman's upset. I think he's trying to get an Intercontinental title match against Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll see what happens. Honestly, spin, stop, start, stop, push with Braun Strowman. He should have been champion already of some sort. Well, a main champion, not a tag team champion. He's won the tag team championships twice. The first time he won it with, what is a 9-year-old kid at WrestleMania. And then the second time he won a couple months ago with Seth Rollins. But he needs a singles title. Well, not needs, but he should have had. Back at, what is it? No Mercy or Great Ball of Fire. One of those pay-per-views. I feel like he should have won the title then, but he didn't. And he's had many championship matches. Ends up coming out as a loser. I remember that match. The Cell, I think it was against Roman Reigns. I'm not too sure. And then Brock Lesnar interferes. And then it ended up being no contest. Lame BS. And he was the Money in the Bank holder. He cashed in at the pay-per-view. Says that he can cash in his Money in the Bank. And he didn't end up winning the match. It ended up being no contest, which is lame as can be. I don't know what's going to go on with Braun Strowman. Maybe he might win the Intercontinental title. I feel like he needs it. But if he doesn't win the Intercontinental title match, he's just, I'm going to say he's a glorified loser, because he's been in so many situations where he could potentially win a title, excluding the tag team championships. I'm talking about singles championships like Intercontinental, WWE Championship, WWE Universal Championship title, so on and so forth. And every single time he just came up short for whatever reason. Anyways, so moving on from that. All right, main event time. Main event is Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. All right. Okay. During this match, 2 times during the match, the Fiend Bray Wyatt made his presence felt. On the second time, this is actually very interesting. Bray Wyatt actually got physically involved in the match, and he assaulted Daniel Bryan, which I do believe should have been a disqualification, which was not. The referee, the female referee, I don't know her name, she decided not to ring the bell. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But before the Fiend Bray Wyatt even attempted to assault Daniel Bryan hit his finisher on Dolph Ziggler. He hit Dolph Ziggler with a knee, and he was gonna go for the pinfall attempt, and he didn't. Right when Bray Wyatt was making his presence felt, I don't know why. I just think it's a symptom of dumb baby face syndrome. Daniel Bryan could have quickly pinned Dolph Ziggler and have gotten out of there once he saw Bray Wyatt come, because you know that when the lights come out and you hear that noise, that nothing's gonna happen, and Bray Wyatt is coming out. So if it was me, I would have pinned Dolph Ziggler, get out of there, get out of Dodge as quick as I could. But like I said, dumb baby face syndrome. It's crazy. So what else do we have here? After he was assaulted, the match still continued. Daniel Bryan was a legal man. Daniel Bryan was laid out outside of the ring. And then Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler came and started beating on Roman Reigns. And then they were going to cuff him up. Well, they did cuff him up, and they was going to pour dog food on him. Then guess who came back? The Usos came back to save Roman Reigns from the dog food being thrown on him. And they cleaned house. Yep, they did. I'm glad to see the Usos back. They need the Usos back. The tag team division has been quite dire, to say the least. And I personally believe the Usos are one of, if not the greatest tag team in the world. They are a really amazing tag team. But that does not excuse this weird main event where Bray Wyatt made his presence felt multiple times. Bray Wyatt physically got involved in this match, and the referee did not ring the bell. um, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler should have won from the moment that Bray Wyatt laid his hand on Daniel Bryan. And then not only that, but when the Usos came in, like that's another disqualification. That's another disqualification right there. When the Usos came in and to help Roman Reigns, the match ended up being a no decision, a no contest. It's just weird how they ended the show like that. And I'm really curious to see if any other podcaster, any other person in the YouTube wrestling community is going to point this out, that the main event was pretty much a no decision and it should have been a disqualification, and the referee did not decide to ring the bell. I don't know, but yeah, that's this Friday's SmackDown, January 3rd, 2020. Let me know what you guys think. I personally think the show wasn't all that great. Could have been better. It's kind of weak. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. Thanks for checking me out. Bye.